Hello, everybody. Today is the 1st of July. Time flies. And we are having a MicroProfile technical call. Let me share my screen. Please help out to take any minutes. See. The Twitter. Let me find my Firefox. So, okay. So basically, yeah, please add your name to the contributors. So we have a few things so MicroProfile tutorial. I think is Turan has made substantial changes in the last few days, and I'm trying to fix basically trying to do the basically the GitHub actions and etc. So it's kind of the gives a quick review and as well. So wait for him to come back and to address to see whether he can address that. And then I think is that's towards the end of this tutorial. Again, I have a to do to try to run through that. I don't know, John, did you get time to run through the tutorial?
Yeah, actually, let's see. Sorry, gotta make sure I'm not mute. Okay. Actually, I started to do it in a slightly different way. So what I thought I'd try is what would it take to update the tutorial POM basically to work on Quarkus, right? And
Oh,
so I went through the first chapter, um, updated the POM, and the problem is that and this isn't a big problem per se, but is that the POM is for deploying a WAR file, and
mhm.
Quarkus does jars.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, now I got to
Quarkus,
turn. Hmm?
right, Quarkus will work with the words as well, right?
The default build, and in I'm trying to think. I think I've only done jars and native executables. I don't know if it does if it deploys wars. I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't deploy wars.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't.
So
Oh, only
now I
jar.
had to turn it into a multi-module project, or
Just
we'll have
jar.
to do that.
Oh, I see.
And I don't know about Helidon, Ed, if it deploys wars or not, or
It
if it's also jar
it
files.
does not. No.
Yeah. So what we're probably gonna have to do if we wanna update the tutorial, to work with kind of these single app stacks, then we're gonna have to turn it into a multi-module project unless somebody else knows another way of doing it.
Yeah, but having separate modules for different implementations, that might make sense. I think we only need to split the existing one and then having a parent for the implementation part and submodules for separate compatible implementations, basically.
Yeah, I mean that might be a good way. Not my strength, in terms of dealing with Maven. Um, so I at first I started out with profiles, and it just like doesn't make sense. It might make sense like if we want to do, you know, a WAR version and an EAR version. Sorry, a WAR version and a JAR version. Maybe profiles might work, um, but that's another way of handling it is a module for WARs and a module for JARs. We don't have to dig into the details. I just thought I just throw out in general that it worked fine on Quarkus once I updated it for JAR. So that was just the first chapter because I wanted to start light. I didn't want to straight to the end. So I think what I might do, is now go back and redo the last chapter, right, which is the most complex. assuming, and because it has multiple services and everything, and try that out.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. If I get time, I will try some chapter randomly. I will try one chapter as well.
Oh, and try it with Open Liberty.
Yeah, that would be easy. Yeah. I'll just at least try one chapter to make sure everything makes sense. Okay, to do.
So do we want to have the vendors try to accomplish this? Do we want I'm just curious what should we do going forward?
Yeah, that's a good question. I did it just because I wanted to see it run on Quarkus. That's how the effort started. You know, I think what we've paid him for currently has already been accomplished, so I wouldn't want to go back and ask him to do it because he just needs to get paid
Yeah,
out.
definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well.
I mean, if we
However,
had budget, if we wanted to spend the budget, we could, but that wasn't what I was suggesting. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought we were going to pay him this year to update with
with yeah,
more
701.
content and more chapters. Update to MicroProfiles, 7.x, and we could do that, and we could have this as an ask, right? To update, to support multiples, or we could just go off and tackle it ourselves. It might be a lot for him to do because who knows how many implementations, who knows how many implementations he'd have to go out and do, versus, that might be something that we might want to tackle. I'm open to it either way.
Yeah, I think probably that would be a quite big ask. The maybe it's not efficient either. It's much easier for the folks, our dev folks, and who is familiar with particular runtime provide alternatives, rather than ask Turan to basically learn that technology and then provide. But I think is getting to MicroProfile 7.1 has a higher priority than provide some other runtime. But at least I think is one runtime should be tried to make sure it's portable. The app is portable. Maybe it's Afonso also on the call. Maybe Afonso, you will take a look on the Payara as well side to see whether you could get the tutorial to work on Payara.
Yeah. We will see. I think in the following weeks probably. I will check with Luis.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So the next thing is the OSS RH end of life. Thank you, Ed. Provided this PR. I did take a look. It's good. Understood a little bit more. And Roberto, thank you so much, Roberto. You took basically the task and also did provide PR. I merged the PR and then I was able to run basically I merged the PR on the MicroProfile dash parent. I was able to basically kick off the build. It did run successfully. However, one thing I'm not sure for the auto publish, you said a false. And then I tried to basically went further to see whether this build was staged or not. I could not find anywhere. I mean, which allow us to.
Yeah, so let me explain that. I think I put like a comment on that, how that works on Central. So Central does not use any staging repo as you were used to compared to SS. If you put auto publish to true, basically it will just publish all the jars, all the binaries directly to central, and I don't think that's what you want.
Correct.
If you put it to false, you
Mhm.
don't have a staging repo. What you have is you have to manually log in into central, and then you'll see. Well, I'm not going to call it like a repository, but you'll have like a request for whatever it was published or for whatever is being published, and then you either accept or refuse, right? And even for using these artifacts is not the same way as you will do as a staging repo. So you are required to use a plugin to be able to connect to wherever those binaries are. I also pasted an URL with documentation that tells you from Central on how to use. Well, it's not. Let's just call it staging repo, but it's not a staging repo because it doesn't work the exact same way, right? But on that PR, you have like a link to documentation that tells you how you can access the binaries that were generated by the release before getting those approved to go to Central. But you have to log in. You have to log in with your credentials into Central directly, and you should be able to see. Actually, let me see. I can probably. Let me see. I can
I
probably.
logged in.
Oh,
I
you
logged
log in
in to
because.
the central. So you
And
can see my.
can you see what you released there?
I click on here. Basically, I can see the namespace. Okay, clips from MicroProfile. The snapshot enabled. However, I couldn't see if I see the published component. I expected to see some artifacts like a MicroProfile dash parent, photo 5 RC1, but I couldn't. As you can, yeah, you can
give me a sec.
Okay, let me log into Jenkins. So I did the build. Did the release today. So this one. So this is kind of the parent. Oh, here it said to finish publishing, visit this deployments.
Yeah, so you have to go to deployments and then you'll.
Yeah, but why
you'll
is
see
it that
something
no
there.
components found then?
So now probably. So let me see. What's the username that's doing that? Because most likely whoever has access to that namespace. I mean, I'm looking into the list here.
Oh, I would know, probably I would not be able to see it. So which user, so that is
No,
that?
you should be able to see it because
Oh,
let me see. Well, actually, well, you are here. You have access to the namespace.
oh yeah, yes, you're right. I kicked it off. I logged in. I should be able to see it.
But
What?
I wonder why it doesn't show on deployments. So I suspect that whatever user is configured in Jenkins is not properly set up here. I did try to publish a snapshot, and that worked just
Are you
fine.
still there, Roberto?
Sorry? Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
I can
Yes.
hear you
Oh.
both.
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, you
Okay.
can. It's me then.
So I suspect that you may have to update the user that's being published on Jenkins. So because I'm not sure how is that set up over there, but when you're using the old repository, it will just use username and password. But for Central, you require to generate a token, and it will generate the entire username and password for you to put on settings XML. So even the username is not the real username; it's just like a token as well. So you have to log in with whatever user it's configured on Jenkins, generate the token, and then update Jenkins with that token.
Oh, because I read OSSR, it said you use the same credential as you have done in the like.
It uses the same credentials, but you have to configure. Well, I mean, you have to set up the credentials in another way. So it doesn't use plain username and password. It uses a token. So you have to refresh the token, and you have to set up the ID for Central in settings XML in Jenkins.
Okay, so you are saying I logged in, however, like
I can try to see if I
yeah.
can do that on Jenkins. I'm not sure if I have permissions for that. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, if you could do a run for the run the MicroProfile dash parent, create a RC2, 3.5 dash RC2, and then probably you already set up a credential and etc. and then to see whether you can see it. So that
So
would be
I did try out locally with my own credentials on my own box, and I was able to publish. So there is like a published snapshot from parent, and that's why I enable snapshots to see if that works. And I did publish, well, not publish, but I did try from my local box final release, and that did show up on deployment. And of course, then I just declined that. I wonder if it shows, because it doesn't even show the history. So the unfortunately, Maven Central, it's this new way of doing stuff is not really that great. It is still missing a lot of stuff. But yeah, I'll have a look into Jenkins and see if I can do the necessary updates for the credentials.
okay, great. Thank you, Roberto. Getting there. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, and I apologize. I do have to drop at the bottom of the hour today. But the one thing,
Okay.
Emily, that we should talk about is the proposed text for a ballot that David gave during the steering committee meeting. I was kind of, well, you and I wanted to talk about it.
Yes.
And between me transitioning to IBM and you traveling, it was a little bit difficult. So let's set up a time to do that over the next couple of days.
Yeah, okay, I will schedule a call. Now it's kind of much easier to talk.
Yeah,
since
and you could use either my IBM or
yeah,
Red
yeah.
Hat.
I use your IBM one, so you won't be.
Yeah, let's try it. It'll be my
uh,
yeah, it'll be my first calendar invite. So
yeah,
or,
yeah,
or second.
exactly. I
Yeah,
can
all
see
right.
your calendar as well, right? So you, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so that's nicely get to the next one. Okay. So this is to do. This is in here. Okay, so next one is basically is MicroProfile rehome to Jakarta. That's an old topic, and we have been discussing for quite a few months. First, I know it's kind of the we have done quite a few straw polls. Last time I went through my straw poll, but it's Yan hasn't got chance basically to discuss more on the straw poll. Yan started. There's okay, Yan, do you want to do a summary about your straw poll?
Yeah, regarding the straw poll, moving the assets to the Jakarta EE working group, everybody voted except IBM and Primeton now. So thanks for that. And AJAC and first Tommy Tribe, then Red Hat, and then AJAC and our Cometa representative Emerson voted with a -1. So there is no super majority possible now. So we need to discuss. Unfortunately, there was no comment for Red Hat, but John shared his thoughts on that before. And so that's not an issue, but AJAC voted without any comment. Maybe I ask for some details and then we can discuss the things that are in concern of these members, if we can find a solution for that or not.
Yeah, I think it's probably John explained. Is a pretty much
Yeah, on your poll, for
namespace.
example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, also some of these government or governance issues he mentioned in his comments on your straw poll. So that's a concern Amazon added too. That was a topic in the Jakarta open working group meeting or the steering committee meeting that was open to everybody. Yeah, and I think, or I heard some openness to change things or learn from MicroProfile on some of these aspects, like having more open meetings, especially on the steering committee, for example. Yeah, I think that need to be discussed in detail, and maybe that can convince some people to change their mind. Yeah, the namespace thing is the other most relevant topic that need to be discussed for sure.
Yeah, and then for the namespace, and then John and I will draft some kind of the verbiage. And again, it's kind of straw poll and to work out the namespace, like choices and etc. Okay, so thank you, yeah, for this one. So I think this, I mean, again, we need to discuss kind of backwards and forwards and to address various things. One is the namespace governance, and close the meetings to see which meetings could be opened up or something like that, or maybe open up yeah, more frequently. But anyway, something to discuss. In terms of this, because Jakarta EE 12 has been kicked off, and Jakarta EE 12 would like to have the basically configuration. So another thing on the table is basically while we are working on the overall kind of the rehome kind of negotiation and etc. and discussion. So there could be a good trial and try it out to basically move a MicroProfile config to Jakarta config. I'm wondering what people think about this idea. So actually, it's try it out, and then it's kind of maybe this is a kind of guinea pig as well. So I would like to work out what people think this and what kind of requirements different basically company have. Okay, yeah, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we should move that forward so we don't create a blocker for Jakarta E12. And also it would be nice if more specs could also consider to support the configuration from the Jakarta side. So yeah, as we discussed before, this is not that simple because we might need to split it up to fulfill all the requirements on the Jakarta side, to have a CDI dependent part and a non-CDI dependent part. I think it's a good idea to start working on it so we don't create a delay, and maybe it helps on the general transition of the other specs too. That's where it started, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we have a few proposals. I think as I will basically put our first proposal in. Proposal 1, we can move as it is. The current MP config move over, and then you can work out in the Jakarta EE kind of the area to see whether we need to split a spec and etc. And also is kind of again. What about namespace? this again is kind of so I think for this config maybe is kind of the less concern to change have the namespace changed because this will be in the core. So it would be pretty much like a Jakarta EE specs. It would be probably good to yeah to keep the names and etc. and have a less less explanation to do the other alternative things. However, if we keep as it is, not to make any change, probably if that worked out, I would basically propose to keep the namespace. So depends on what kind of change needs to be put forward. So that's my kind of basically the thinking right now. What about others? So Roberto, what do you think?
About what exactly?
About
Just moving?
MicroProfile config to Jakarta config. So what kind of proposal you think are acceptable?
I mean, we already been that for many occasions, right? I mean, I don't even know what to say really because we've been discussing this for like 4 or 5 years, and everyone pretty much keeps the same opinion that they had like 4 or 5 years ago. So Of course, my opinion will be to just reuse what we have, but we know that there are other people that just want to do something new. And again, it's just going to be like a fight between these two parties all over again, right? And no matter how many arguments you throw from one side or the other, right? Nobody can convince the other party. I mean, in reality, we were convinced, right? So we started to do like a Jakarta config, and it took us nowhere, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, we should try. I mean, we already tried that approach; it didn't work out. I think we should try another approach, right?
Yeah, so I think yeah, we tried basically tried that and then rewrite all the things. It didn't work out with the time. I think I think if we directly instead of like start from scratch again and getting people and rediscuss all the things again, if we just reuse, so basically we put this on the table that, okay, Jakarta, you can reuse the MicroProfile config. And then it's kind of the pretty much don't need to change much. With this, I think I'm a pretty kind of sure without reinventing the wheels, reinventing the APIs and etc. We say, okay, we MicroProfile would like to donate MicroProfile to Jakarta, and then just like pretty much is kind of they change the artifact ID or something like that, and then run with it, or maybe split jars into two jars, and if Jakarta want. So I think I will be willing to work with Jakarta kind of community. I think hopefully Roberto, you can yeah. So basically, is without reinventing wheels, we pretty much open up open the discussion and then kind of the work from there. Maybe this time we directly engage the Jakarta platform community rather than pulling individual teams and then trying to start something from scratch. That approach already failed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think there are some things we need to think about. It depends on the Jakarta platform team, what they prefer to, but it's pretty sure that we should split it up. So there are two ways to do it on the MicroProfile side or on the Jakarta E side. It may take longer if we do it on the Jakarta E side, but I don't know. Bringing out a new release is usually easier to be done within MicroProfile in the current situation. But maybe that's not true anymore.
I mean, the idea to split the APIs on a CDI, non-CDI stuff, that was already on the pipeline. I had a prototype of that like a long time ago. We just never moved with that because, I mean, and it's not only because of that change, but if you look into MicroProfile config, there was not work. None. We didn't do any work on that for the last 2 or 3 years, and the reason for that was because of Jakarta config, right? So it was just like pointless, just keep putting stuff in there. Now, if we are in agreement that this is the way to go, I'm more than happy to do the work on the MicroProfile config side. It's fine, or on the Jakarta side. It doesn't really matter the side for me, but we can do the work on the MicroProfile config side, split the CDI stuff, do a release, move things over, whatever.
Yeah, that's good news because, one fear I have, if we move it to Jakarta and a new team is changing it, it has the potential to break some things on the MicroProfile side because every MicroProfile spec is depending on it. and that need to be prevented. From that view, it's safer to do these changes on the MicroProfile side, and then maybe move one after the other to the Jakarta side. And in meanwhile, we can do releases for the rest of the MicroProfile specs to adopt to these new splitted variants. And maybe later on a namespace change if that happens.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. And so the action. So next week I will go to the platform call. So put this kind of suggestion on the table. So basically we are waiting to make changes to kind of get some MicroProfile config to be consumable for Jakarta E12. And then it's kind of yeah, and then can move from there to see whether we are happy for the changes to be. I mean, what kind of changes they need, and whether the change can be made just in the MicroProfile kind of the side, and then do the release and pretty much consume, and we can go from there. How does that sound?
Yes.
Anybody have any kind of concerns, disagreement? Okay. If nobody have any kind of the concerns, etc., basically we would just like it's better to yeah, we have put a proposal forward, and then like basically talk with Jakarta, and then anyway we'll get the engaged with relevant parties and etc. So, and then everything in the transparent view in the public. We know exactly what happened, and we get a necessary kind of requirement, and we'll come back to talk in the next week's call. And let me see. Yeah. Next week is the MicroProfile Live Hangout call, and then it's the kind of the look at the requirement, and we will do the necessary work. So this is sounds good. At least we can make something happen. We'll attend Jakarta platform for next week to gather the necessary comment regarding what changes Jakarta EE12 needs from MP config. Okay, good. I think that's all I have. Anything else people want to bring up? Okay, if not, you have 13 minutes back. It's such a hot day. I think you all deserve an ice cream. Okay, great. Cheers. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you. Bye
guys.
bye.
Yeah, bye.